A fort surrounded by dense hills, broken walls, deserted streets, and centuries-old dust settled on the stones. During the day, all this looks like an old historical place, but as the sun sets, every stone here awakens like an invisible force. Suddenly, the screams of a woman are said to echo from the walls of this fort, and along with strange footsteps, the sound of anklets spreads in the silence. This is Bhangarh, India's most mysterious and haunted fort. It is believed that this fort and the entire area are under the curse of a powerful tantric. He cursed this city after failing to win his love. But the big question is, did this curse really turn Bhangarh into a haunted place? Why is it still strictly forbidden to step inside after midnight? Why do people claim that their phones and cameras stop working here? What is the real truth behind these scary stories? Let's find out in today's episode. Bhangarh Fort stands amidst the Aravalli Hills, on the scorching land of Rajasthan. Its broken walls look as if they are silently retelling the stories of the past. The most famous tale associated with this fort is that of Princess Ratnavati. Her beauty was unmatched, and people often said that the whole of Rajasthan paled in comparison to her charm. By the time she turned 18, marriage proposals from princes across kingdoms flooded in. But her fate was to be marked by the dark shadow of a tantric named Singhiya. Singhiya was not an ordinary man. He was a master of black magic, feared for the power of his mantras. His glowing eyes and hypnotic voice made even the bravest tremble. But Singhiya's heart craved only one thing, the love of Princess Ratnavati. Knowing he could never win her in the usual way, he turned to black magic. One day, when Ratnavati's maid went to buy oil for her princess's hair, Singhiya enchanted that very bottle with his magic. His plan was simple. Once Ratnavati used that oil, she would fall completely under his control. But destiny had other plans. The princess learned of the trick and threw the oil bottle away from the fort's walls. The bottle shattered on a rock, and the enchanted oil seeped into it. The rock, now possessed by dark power, rose into the air and crashed upon Singhiya, killing him instantly. But before his last breath, the tantric cursed Bhangarh. This city will never prosper, and no one who lives here will ever survive. History tells us that soon after, a neighboring kingdom attacked Bhangarh. The clash of swords, screams, and blood-soaked walls seemed to confirm the curse. In the chaos, even Princess Ratnavati lost her life. Slowly, the once thriving city became deserted, abandoned to ruins. But that was not the only tale. Another story says that years later, King Madhav Singh tried to rebuild Bhangarh. He sought the guidance of a yogi named Balanath, who warned, "Build the fort and I will build my ashram nearby. But remember, the fort must never rise so high that its shadow falls upon my ashram. If it does, the curse will return with even greater power." At first, the king respected this condition, but after his death, his descendants raised the walls higher, and one day the fort's shadow touched the yogi's ashram. From that moment, disaster returned. People fell ill, mysterious deaths occurred, and wars broke out. The city once again turned lifeless, feeding the legend of the curse. Today, locals believe that the restless spirits of Ratnavati and those who perished still wander the ruins. But was it really all because of a curse? Or good history and science explain it differently? In reality, Bhangarh Fort was built in the 16th century by Raja Bhagwant Das for his son Madho Singh. It was not just a fort, but a planned city with temples, markets, mansions, and palaces. Traders sold clothes, jewelry, spices, and weapons. Nights once glowed with music and dance. But as time passed, After the death of Madho Singh's successor, Chhatra Singh, the city's prosperity began to decline. By the 18th century, its importance was almost gone. The final blow came in 1783 during the terrible Chalisa famine. For 4 years, Rajasthan faced severe drought. Crops failed, famine and disease spread, and people began migrating. Soon, Bhangarh was abandoned. But locals connected this tragedy with the Tantric's curse, giving birth to chilling ghost stories that still survive today. As night falls, the silence of the fort feels haunting. The wind rushing through broken halls creates ghostly echoes. The cries of animals, the hoot of an owl, or the rustle of leaves often feel like whispers or footsteps. The Archaeological Survey of India has even put up a board outside the fort, warning that entry after sunset is strictly prohibited. Officially, it is for safety reasons, but locals say the government knows the fort is truly haunted. Scientists, however, have a different view. They explain that in darkness and silence, the human brain becomes hyper-alert. Every small sound seems magnified. The echoing architecture of the fort creates strange resonances that feel like whispers. Low-frequency infrasound can make the body uneasy, causing anxiety and chills. Electromagnetic fields from old rocks and minerals can interfere with electronic devices, which explains why phones and cameras often malfunction here. Despite these explanations, the stories of Bhangarh refuse to die. Paranormal investigators who visited with night vision cameras and recorders claimed to capture strange lights and unknown voices, though no evidence has ever been scientifically confirmed. Whether these experiences are real or just imagination, they continue to fuel the mystery. For locals, these stories are part of their identity. For tourists, they add to the thrill of visiting one of India's scariest places. Guides narrate ghost tales, while nearby tea shops and hotels thrive on this so-called dark tourism. But some experts worry that the fort's true historical and cultural value is overshadowed by its ghostly reputation. Whatever the truth, Bhangarh remains a place wrapped in fear and fascination. Ask a scientist, and they will say it's just air, sound, and the human mind at play. Ask a historian, and they will tell you famine and war destroyed this city. But ask a local villager, and they will simply smile and say, don't go there at night, because someone still wakes within those walls. And perhaps that is the real mystery of Bhangarh. Whether or not the curse was real, the stories of fear are what make this fort immortal.